Okay, in lesson 4.3, we're going to take a look at live microgreens trays. And I know this is something that really appeals to a lot of people. And I think this is the case for two reasons. One is it just makes things so much easier to not have to package. It saves you a lot of time, it saves you a lot of money, and so it's really appealing in that way. That's actually the two reasons. It's time and money. You're spending way less time packaging and you're not buying the packaging itself. Another good reason is they make really, really nice displays. Here you can see we've got them on display in our winter market, even though I do recall, and you can kind of tell with the radishes, which are the second trays there, they got a little frozen that day, actually. But it does make a really, really wonderful display. That was the one market. And here's the market where we would take our whole trailer and carry the trays up on top there. So it really is, they present themselves so well. It's just really, really tempting to want to sell something that's living like that. So let's take a look at a little bit of a look at the pros and cons of this, because it is something that I've given a lot of thought to and really is a good idea. These things we talked about here, they're great for displays and don't require any packaging. And I think there's a strong appeal for you as a grower and seller to be selling the freshest product possible. And I think that appeals to a lot of clients. And this is especially important with something like wheatgrass, which a lot of the sort of wheatgrass aficionados will say it always needs to be fresh cut and juiced right away and drank right away. And so there's a very strong case for that. And I think it's the thing you're most commonly going to see in stores and at markets is fresh growing wheatgrass. There are some challenges with live trays that they're not insurmountable, but they're very relevant. And over time, what often happens is it makes it very difficult to continue selling live trays. So a few of them I'm going to talk about here. The first one, and this is one that really never occurred to me, is it's really, really hard for the customer to maintain the quality of their product. And so why this is because you are probably growing your trays in a pretty close to optimum environment. You're tweaking your lights and your temperature and your airflow to give them ideal conditions to grow, because that's what you need in order to grow a good product. Now, if you take that item and you put it on a grocery store shelf or in a kitchen, right away, like the product starts losing quality instantly. And so it's really hard for the customer to maintain the quality that you have in that living tray. And once you've cut that and packaged it, it's actually maintaining that quality very, very well. Reason number two is soils and kitchens don't mix. And I know chefs are really drawn to the idea of being able to do fresh cut product. But yeah, you can't have soil in your kitchen. So in many ways, having a fresh delivered product works much better for chefs. And this is something we've seen, is that they just find it hard to manage the trays. Once the tray is done, they need to put the soil somewhere. And so what starts off as a great idea actually is very, very hard to continue. It's not always the case. Some kitchens are better designed for this, and some chefs are more committed to this. And if this is a direction chefs want to go, I actually push them towards doing the whole production themselves, and have worked with some chefs in the past to set that up. So that's another service you could offer if you're not going to actually sell the product to the chef directly. The third thing is preventing the tray from getting contaminated in transport. We talked about one of the roles of packaging earlier being to avoid product contamination. And so if you're just taking a tray like this out into the public, there's lots of opportunity for it to get contaminated. So we'll talk a little bit about that in the transport section. And in some cases, some grocers and wholesalers we've worked with require us to bring wheatgrass to them in a box. So it's another expense, it's another logistic, and it's another product that we're consuming and using to get another product out there. And so it can become counterproductive then to be trying to reduce packaging in one way, but just using it in another. So I think it's another thing where being creative goes a long way, and I think there are some good cases for selling live trays. What you want to make sure of is that once that product is with the customer, that it can be maintained in terms of quality, because it's your product that inevitably they're serving, and two, that it's not getting contaminated along the way. So those are some logistical things to work out, which can be worked out. Just make sure those are top of mind when you're thinking about that.